Hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 105 of Minnows to Kings, back here in San Marino with SS Cosmos. Today we are starting our season 14 campaign. We're going to go through the transfers, we're going to have a look back at the European qualifying. We've also got a bit of news in the European qualifying as well, which is fantastic bit of news. We're going to start off with the signings. We're going to go over the outs first of all, and there's been a pretty big one, and it was out of my control. If we have a look at the transfer history, in terms of the outs, we've got a few players gone out on loan. But Yoon Young-hee has joined Barcelona for £40.5 million. Now, this was absolutely out of my control. The initial bid came in from RB Leipzig for £23 million, which the board accepted. Obviously, I protested it. Leipzig came back with £27 million. I protested it again, and the board cancelled the transfer. But then Barcelona came in with £40 million, and the board accepted it again, and there was absolutely nothing I could do to dissuade them, basically. So Yoon Young-hee has joined Barcelona for £40 million. It's initially, it was initially 30-odd million, 32 million with add-ons, but it looks like they've already paid the 40 million. So unfortunately, the young South Korean has in fact left the club, which, like I say, is rather disappointing. He was going to be a star player, £75,000 a week at Barcelona. Now I've tried to loan him back, but they say he's part of their first team plans. So, and you can see he has actually played in the Champions League. No, that was for us. He's played one game in the Spanish division. He's got a 7.15. So that's a little bit annoying. But anyway, in terms of the players that we've brought in. First of all, we've been through the 5 initial ones. I then brought in Rafael. I went through those at the end of last season. Rafael Sevilla is in on loan from Arsenal. He is a very, very good central midfielder, and he is more than likely going to take over the Yoon Young-hee role in this squad this season. I initially brought him in as an attacking midfielder, centre mid on attack. But if we obviously, as a playmaker, you can see just how good he is. His vision, his passing, dribbling, technique, agility, stuff like that. He's driven as well. Not too bad value-wise, so the only thing that lets him down is consistency. But value-wise, if he does well this season, we may look to make that a permanent transfer. I then signed a couple of strikers, a little bit of cover up front, because we only had Chirillo, Ramiro and Selva, really. So the first person I signed was Marco Gatta, and as you can see, he is going to be sort of like the cover for Chirillo. He's pretty decent as a pressing forward. He's got good off the ball, good teamwork, great first touch. He's okay at finishing. If we can just compare the two. There we go. Chirillo, you can see that he excels in some areas. Chirillo is better in other areas, but it's more, he's in as a squad player, so it's more cover really. And he came in for a total of £4.3 million from Atalanta, so fairly decent. His goal scoring is okay, really. The next one is a young Australian, Byron Foster. He's coming from an Australian club. He is the advanced forward cover. Again, he's got some decent attributes for that position. No real negatives in his pros and cons. 18 years old, so he's got that chance for the homegrown status still, but he only cost us 675k. He's coming from Wanderers in Uruguay, I beg your pardon, not in Australia. But he's had a decent start to life as well in the Champions League qualifyings. And the next one was another £675,000 signing. It is Merced Lugovic, who's coming from Sarajevo. He is going to be the new regista. I've actually pushed Iryashev forward just a little bit into the centre of midfielder, but he's pretty decent as a regista. You know, it's a couple of things, long shots and dribbling let him down a little bit, but he's got great balance, great teamwork, great passing. Some of his mentals are really, really good. And for the price that we paid for him, 26 years old, which is a little bit disappointing, but he dictates tempo and tries long passes, you know, left-footed as well. Yeah, so he's not too bad, and he hasn't cost us a lot, which is really good. A Bosnian international, trained at Bayern Munich. He's actually played a lot of football. He's played 221 games. But for £675,000, I thought it was worth the go. So in terms of European qualifying, it's been very comfortable. Dude Longe in the first qualifying round, we went to their place. We beat them 8-0. Nunez on the score sheet, Pedro Ramiro, Sevilla, Yongyu He, Ottaviani and Marco Silva with the goals there. We then brought them back to San Marino and it was 6-1, so 14-1 in aggregate. Again, decent amount of goal scorers. Nunez, Moon, Alfie Moon, Pedro Ramiro getting a 2 again. Jorge Casanova, who the left back has started off very, very well, by the way. 1 goal, 2 assists, 7.46 average rating. We then took on Sarajevo. We may have actually played against our new man there in this game, but we beat them 3-1 in San Marino. Alfonso and then Pedro Ramiro again with 2. We then went to Sarajevo in Kosovo, I believe. Sarajevo. I always remember Sarajevo as being Yugoslavia, but that's going back a long time ago. Esteval Churilo with the double. It was then Victoria Pleasant in the next round, 4-0 win at home. Churilo, Ramiro, Nunez and Gata on the score sheet. And then, disappointingly, we got a draw at their place. Rafael Sevilla with the goal there. Then in the playoff, it was Maribor, 3-0 wins in both legs. Ramiro with the double, Alfonso. And then at home, it was Churilo and Byron Foster with the double. I've been very impressed by the new fullbacks. They've done very, very well watching them. Hassan in particular, his 4 assists, his crossing is really, really good. It's good to see in the team. Model citizen, 18 years old. I'm quite excited by him. Casanova again, his crossing has been pretty decent. I'm sure there's a way that you can actually see crosses completed, but it's probably going to escape me, to be honest. I think it's this one here, isn't it? 21 crosses completed, yes. 21 completed in 8 games, so it's been pretty decent in terms of that. The news I alluded to, though, in terms of European qualification, if we just have a look at Folgore and have a look at their schedule, we finally had another San Marino team win a European tie. They have beaten FC Honka 3-1 on aggregate. They didn't do too badly against Breidablik either, the Icelandic team there. So, in terms of coefficients, that's good for the nation. Where are Honka from? A Finnish team. So it's been really, really good to see, to be honest. And this is part of us loaning players to them. Luis Munguia is a former player of ours. He's actually now signed, I believe, for Folgore. So we're starting to spread some of the players out through the league, and it's starting to pay off in terms of Europe. So that is extra coefficients. Johnny Cafaro is on loan from us. It's starting to pay off in terms of the qualification. Anyway, that is pretty much all the news up to date. Pedro Ramiro with 9 goals already this season, which is really, really good. I don't think I've got anybody else lined up. I haven't. It's just been a summer of rejecting bids for players. You can see these are the main players. It was also Yun He, rejecting a lot of bids for him. It's all I've done all summer, but financially we're just shy of £80 million, which is really, really good. Obviously that 33 million that's coming for Yun He has helped towards that. I've got £44 million in the transfer budget, which I'm obviously not looking to move on. In terms of the players that we've got out on loan, you can see that we've got a lot of them out on loan to various clubs across the nation. Rafael Sevilla is the only one who we've brought in, and I'm looking forward to seeing the continued growth of the rest of the nation. We do have the Champions League qualifying stage, group stage draw though to go over. So we're gonna knock this off, wrap the episode up. I'm gonna then obviously click forward to the point where I get to the games, go through all the games. In terms of seeds, we're still a 3rd seed, 71 as our coefficient score. We've got some big teams below us though. In 4th seed, we've got Borussia Dortmund. I think the rest of the teams are pretty much beatable, to be honest. Borussia Dortmund's maybe the standout one in here. He's a pretty decent player, isn't he? 215 million value. State of the art, everything in Dortmund. If you ever want a youth player, Dortmund is your place to go because they just produce talent after talent. Obviously, Erling Haaland's been there. It's what's the date today? It's the 9th of October. Haaland's got 20 goals for Man City this season in 13 appearances. He's absolutely destroying the opposition. Anyway, let's get on with the draw. We're going to stick it on automatic. In fact, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to skip through to the point where we get to the third seeds. Here, any groups that we want to avoid. Yeah, any groups that we would favour. Maybe this one and this one, Group E and F. Everybody else is just going to it's going to be difficult, isn't it? Right, let's go then. Let's automatic. So we've avoided Bayern, we've avoided PSG and Chelsea as well. Real Madrid we've avoided, and we've got Man United again, and AC Milan. Not the easiest of draws again, is it? We'll just see who the fourth seed's going to be in our group. Watch it be Dortmund, just to spite me. Thankfully, we've missed Dortmund. We've got a Turkish team. Ankaragucu. No idea. I'll Google that, how to pronounce it. But that's going to be another difficult group for us, isn't it? Man United, we all know about Man United. They've beaten us. They've knocked us out of the semi-finals of the Europa League for a couple of times. AC Milan, fantastic team again. State-of-the-art everything. Jose Pedro is pretty decent, isn't he? He's fairly good. So it looks like, again, unfortunately, we're aiming for third place in this group and then maybe a run into the Europa League. And it's so far this save is a little bit of a slow burner. We're still waiting for some reputations to grow and stuff like that. In terms of the San Marino League, it has grown. We're up to 55th now, so we're just below the Scottish Championship, the second tier in Scotland, and the Northern Irish Premiership. So we are going in the right direction. It's just been a little bit slow. Let's click forward anyway, and we're going to get the group stages scheduled, obviously, and then we'll wrap the episode up. You can look here, bids galore for our players. So we're going to start off against the Turkish side, then Milan, Man United doubleheader, Milan, and then finish up with the Turkish side again. So hopefully by this time our destiny is in our own hands at home against the Turkish side. Let's just have a look at their star player. Yeah, he's not the greatest, is he? So this is the winnable game. It's the very winnable game, and we have to make sure that we do, because I think we're going to struggle against the likes of Man United and AC Milan. So yeah, that's going to be next episode, guys. I'm going to do all 6 group games into the one episode again. I think that format worked really well. The video is slightly long, but obviously I just want to try and condense this save as much as possible now and get it done. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I've been your host, as always, Dean, or KJM, whatever you want to call me. Any feedback, as always, I'm always open to suggestions, stuff like that. I'll reply to every comment that I get. But thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your continued support. And I'll see you all in the next episode.